on 3 pitches, a curveball. Here's the 3-2, strike 3, Contreras. And another strikeout, Happ's got it. And he got him to chase up. Huge strikeout by Gray. There's wonderful pitching, 7 innings from John Gray, who gets the win. That is a swing and a miss on a dandy curveball. The win to Chad Bennett, 7 shutout innings. He's now 4-1.
That was fun watching Chad Bennett yesterday. It's been fun watching the Rockies rotation of late, and it's Kyle Freeland's turn today. His last couple of starts have been very, very good. Back upstairs with Jeff Hewson. I'm Drew Goodman. Kyle Freeland against Noah Syndergaard. Thor.
Well, yeah, and it's a tough matchup for Kyle Freeland because you've got 2 guys here, especially Noah Syndergaard, that is as good as anybody in the game.
And our Conoco pitching matchup, the left-hander Freeland against one of the hardest throwers in the game in Noah Syndergaard. The thing we know about Kyle Freeland, he loves to compete.
And he rises to a challenge. When you're going up against somebody like Noah Syndergaard, you got to be on top of your game. And right now, Kyle is rolling his last 2 ball games, 1-1 with a 1.93. So it's been 14 innings. He's given up 3 earned runs. That was against the Cubs. Unfortunately, took the loss because the Rockies only scored 2 runs in that game. But what I like about Kyle, though, right now, is he's being very aggressive in the strike zone. He's saying, okay, here's my stuff. You can hit it. We'll talk about hitting. It's going to be a little difficult today against Noah Syndergaard because he has one of the hardest average fastballs, one of the hardest average sliders, one of the hardest changeups at 90 miles an hour. So for Noah Syndergaard, also pitching here at Citi Field, he's got a 2.70 ERA in his career, 49 Ks on the year, which is 5th in the National League. So for Thor against Kyle, this is a matchup where if one guy blinks, that might give the other team the opportunity to get ahead.
And again, the Rockies, if they can get after Syndergaard, a chance to fly home tonight with a 6-3 road trip. We're set for baseball. Glad as always that you're along with us. It's the Rockies, it's the Mets. Come on back to Flushing Meadows with us. Welcome to Citi Field as the Rockies get ready to conclude this series against the Mets, looking for the sweep The Mets on this homestand 0-5, and they'll take off for Cincinnati after the ball game. The Rockies will enjoy a day off at home, and then they'll get ready for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Charlie Blackmon's going to lead it off for the Rockies this afternoon. Let's take a look at Buddy Black's lineup. David Dahl, who had that big pinch single late in the ball game yesterday to give the Rockies an insurance run for Wade Davis in the ninth. He'll bat second. Nolan naturally will bat third. He hit the home run in the first inning yesterday. Gerardo Parra will follow. Then Story, Desmond, Daniel Castro back in the starting lineup at second. Tony Walters and Kyle Freeland. And Tony is catching 2 out of 3 in this series, but Chris Iannetta, who got hit yesterday, is fine. He's available today. Talked to him for a while in the clubhouse. He came out just fine after being hit late in that ballgame. So there's Noah Syndergaard. Tell you what, Atlanta ambushed his fastball in the first inning in his last outing. He gave up all 3 of those runs in inning number 1.
Yeah, and his fastball, though, is electric. It's 97 miles an hour, which is the 3rd hardest average velocity on his fastball in the big leagues. Slider and changeup, the same thing. Those are number 1. So I think that's what the Braves said, and they gave up he gave up 10 hits to the Braves, the most he's given up this year.
That's right, and the Braves also are the most aggressive team in baseball, just in front of the Cubs when it comes to first pitch swing percentage. First fastball, 98 miles an hour, strike 1 on Charlie, who has a 7-game hitting streak going. Slider, so it's 0-2, and here's the average fastball velocity leaders among starters. Syndergaard is 1. John Gray, who will start that series against the Angels on Tuesday, is 3rd.
Luis Severino is number 1 in all of baseball, one of the starters at 97.7 miles an hour.
Charlie fouls that off at 98. Severino's having a great year for the Yankees. The Yankees have won, what, 15 out of 16?
Yeah, 14 out of 15.
Or is it 14
yeah,
out of 15?
14 out of 15. Just watching Syndergaard out on the mound, he stands a little bit like what John Gray is doing now, just kind of sideways, and then there's not much to the delivery, even from the windup.
This is popped foul, and drifting far enough away from the nearest player on that side of the infield, and that's Todd Frazier.
Yeah,
they have 3 on the right side. Even as hard as Syndergaard throws, it'll touch 100 miles an hour. They play in the infield, Charlie, to pull the baseball.
And that's why Frazier couldn't get that ball, because he's playing shortstop, and that hit 3 feet from the fence in foul territory, giving Charlie new life.
And that's a running, looked like a 2-seamer. That was an interesting pitch, and he strikes out. Charlie, let's take a look at the Mets defensively this afternoon. In the outfield, it's Yoenis Cespedes and Jay Bruce, and in the middle, an outstanding center fielder, Juan Lagares. In the infield, Frazier, Rosario, Cabrera. Wilmer Flores is getting the start at first base. He swung the bat well in the first 2 games off the bench. 2 pinch hits, a double and a single. Lobaton's doing the catching. Here's David Dahl, and this is fisted to short. Not really to short, but you know what I'm talking about. Rosario makes the catch, 2 outs.
Go back to the strikeout pitch to Charlie Blackmon. He thought maybe it was a 2-seamer. No, it was a changeup on the Subaru Supermo, but the run on it is fantastic at 90 miles an hour.
So 2 outs, nobody on. That'll bring up Nolan. Fastball at 98 is down. He hit a fastball down in the first inning yesterday against Steven Matz pretty well, didn't he?
Yeah, I saw the highlight, the name on it, an Applejack. I kind of like that one, right in the Big Apple.
That was an Applejack. I like that. That he swung. So it's 1-1. Eric Cooper, the crew chiefs behind home plate. Chad Fairchild at first. Bruce Dreckman at second. Mike Estabrook is at third. One of the great nicknames in sports, Thor.
This kind of looks like a Thor with the long hair and big body.
Cuts off the plate, 3-1. And he has his legion of followers.
I think playing in the Big Apple, you have to have some sort of nickname. They just got rid of the Dark Knight.
Turned out the lights on the Dark Knight. Ball 4. So 2-out walk to Arenado, and that will allow Gerardo Parra to come up. Much cooler today. Remember on Thursday, no ball game, but it got into the low 90s, believe it or not, on Thursday. Today, the game time temperature is 62 degrees. It's a little windy, chance for rain later on today. Much cooler.
Let's hope that stays away until this game's over, okay? If you don't say it, then it doesn't happen.
Then why do you always say we don't control things when we throw out stats and people say, oh, you jinxed them?
You jinxed it, I know. I was just trying a little something different, but
hey, happy birthday, Gerardo Parra, 31 today. Gerardo 1 for 3. Lifetime against Syndergaard. And he takes 2-0. Rockies perfect in the month of May at 4-0.
just a couple teams.
Yeah, just a couple teams unbeaten. The Yankees are unbeaten in May. The Cardinals have played good baseball in the month of May so far. They're the 3 unbeatens, and May typically has been a troublesome month for the Rockies. Last May they were very good, won 17 ball games in May, and if they can have a plus 500 May this year, it'll be the first time in franchise history they've gone consecutive years in the month of May above 500. This is in a year down that left field line. Cespedes will make the catch. Saw a fan's glove go up, and I'm thinking, well, he's not going to have a play, and then he reached in and snagged it. Freeland getting set to go against the Mets. Freeland's completed his warm-up pitches. First 4 starts rough, last 2 terrific. League hitting just 180 against him last 2, and he's kept the ball in the ballpark. That had been an issue the first 4 starts.
Yeah, as you see, 5 home runs, 0 in his last 2. He's also striking out more than he's walking. His ground ball percentage is up about 9%. And he's commanding the fastball, but the cut fastball he leads the major leagues in strikeouts and cut fastballs. He has 22 strikeouts of his 30 have come on the cutter.
And the league's hitting just 182 against his cutter. And that's a base hit for Lagares. First time in the leadoff role this year, and he swings at the first pitch. So Lagares aboard. Let's take a look at the lineup this afternoon for Mickey Callaway. Cespedes will bat second. Cabrera at 336, among the league leaders in a number of offensive categories. Then it's Frazier and Flores, Jay Bruce, Jose Lobaton. Syndergaard, not much of an average, but he's got a lot of power, as you might suspect with that body. Ahmed, Rosario will bat ninth once again. So here's Cespedes. The Mets have been shut out in 3 of their last 4 ball games.
Well, they haven't had a lead since last Sunday.
It's been 45 innings. We were remarking during the commercial break, Cespedes made the nice catch reaching into the stands. He had that great throw yesterday to the plate. Good pitch. He is, and he's played a lot of center field in his career. He is a really good outfielder.
Since 2012, he has 67 outfield assists. And you think with a big guy like that, he's not going to be able to move around or go back, or there's going to be one area that he has trouble with. No, that's not the case at all.
No, he can field it. He can throw it. In fact, he's got 67 assists since 2012. This ball's pulled foul. Second on that list is Gerardo Parra. Parra's got 63 assists since 2012. And the Royals' Alex Gordon. Pirates' Starling Marte. Two strikes on Cespedes. Lagares at first. He draws a throw.
Lagares 2 out of 3 stealing bases in this to start the year for him.
Tough combo to run on. Freeland from the left side, and Tony Walters so quick behind the plate.
If you do run, you're just guessing first movement.
Oh, 2, and that's off the end of the bat. Charlie's going to have to field it on a hop. And they're 2 on with nobody out for Cabrera. Here are the Rockies defensively. David Dahl's getting the start. He's in right field. We showed you Parra at left, Blackman in the middle, Arenado Story, Daniel Castro at second base, Ian Desmond at first base. Tony Walters is behind the plate. And again, I'll reiterate, Chris Iannetta is just fine. DJ LeMahieu, Pat Valaika, and Daniel Castro before the ball game were taking ground balls at second. DJ looked great, moving around, and then they had him running the bases, and he looked good.
Yeah, I think that was the key. Now they'll see how he feels tomorrow when he wakes up after running. But it wasn't just sprints from the batter's box for DJ down to first base. He's also doing some running and some turns at first, although running to second base.
And Cabrera with a base hit, and Lagares around second to third. Throw going to third, and then come back to second. Cabrera put the brakes on. First and third, 1-0 New York, and that ends the string of 45 innings in which the Mets have either been even or trailed.
It's also the first run that Kyle has allowed in the first inning this year in his 7th start. Well, that was off the end of the bat on the Subaru Supermo, but right now, as Asdrubal Cabrera, it doesn't matter whether it's left-handed or right-handed, he's on every single pitch. He's 21 RBIs for him.
And he's 11 Huey for his last 20 at the plate. Righty, lefty.
Yeah, his numbers are right-handed coming into the game. He's hitting .345, left-handed .333.
And because Cespedes took advantage of that ball being in left center field and went first to third, Freeland's in a situation where he'll have to be outstanding not to allow at least a second run. Nobody out. Todd Frazier at the plate. Frazier has swung it much better at home than on the road. He's at .308 at home, .204 out on the road. Though the Mets as a team have played better on the road than at home.
10-5 out on the road, 7-9 at Citi Field. For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch, and it's Escape from New York. You see there, the Rockies are 6-2 on getaway days. Have a chance to go 6-3 on this road trip. An escape from the Queens.
And that's up and in, 2-0.
This is two for Kyle. Just minimize damage now.
Three and nothing.
I think with a veteran too, like Todd Frazier, he's going to have the green light.
Yeah, you would think. They've struggled to score runs. First inning, and that wasn't a 3-0 swing, but it's going to get the job done in that right field corner. Dahl will fire towards second, jogging home with the second Mets run is Cespedes. So Frazier on a 3-0 pitch reaches out and hits a sac fly to deep right. Frazier's 21st RBI. And that'll bring up Wilmer Flores.
Let's have three guys, Frazier, Cabrera, and Cespedes, that have over 20 RBI.
The Rockies have 3 over 20 RBIs. What's interesting is the rest of the National League West has only 3 players. On the other 4 teams that have 20-plus RBIs. Flores whips it foul.
The A.J. Pollock, Yasmani Grandal, and Christian Villanueva.
Jam shot will be handled by Story. Flores retired, 2 outs.
Well, for a team that's usually pretty, let's say, laid back, but they're not usually overly aggressive, the Mets. They've only seen 13 pitches as you're coming to the 6th batter in the lineup.
Game plans change, as you well know, Huey, from pitcher to pitcher and sometimes from start to start. And there's a greater focus on a collective game plan, I think, now. In fact, I know now, just talking to coaches, than there's ever been in the game.
Goodness.
Go back to your time, and not that you were, played in an ancient era, but
you didn't have the wealth of information that you have now. I mean, you had your individual scouting reports, you'd have your hitters meetings, you'd have your pitchers meetings. But it was, hey, this guy likes to throw, a fastball, and he'll throw change-ups to lefties, more sliders to righties. And that was it, but it wasn't, hey, 58% of the time he's going to do this, and it's kind of that educated guess.
Right, and we need to look here in this count.
Yeah.
Right?
No, none of that went on.
2-1 on Jay Bruce.
And I think for the Rockies, that's what they did you know, on Friday night against Zach Wheeler. They'd use that game plan against him. Let's get after that fastball early.
And that misses. 3-1. Bruce hitting .214, left on left. Couple hits yesterday for Bruce, including a double. Cabrera at first, 2 runs in. Slider swung over the top of, and it's 3-2. First inning runs.
Today
It's been an issue for not for Kyle this year. It's been an issue for the Rockies, though. In the air to deep right center field. Charlie on the edge of the track, now the middle of the track, will make the catch. 3 straight singles and a sac fly produced 2 runs for the Mets. Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. By UC Health, live extraordinary. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. The Mets leading 2-0 here at Queens over the Rockies. Colorado will have Trevor Story, Ian Desmond, and Daniel Castro in inning number 2 against Noah Syndergaard. Something must have happened to Yoenis Cespedes when he was running the bases, because he's now out of the ball game, and Brandon Nimmo, the Wyoming kid, is in left field.
I just noticed when he got to third base that he started hitting his right leg up by the quad area, making like it's kind of tight, trying to get it loose.
In the hip flexor area.
Yeah.
The Mets earlier today, they had stated 3 days ago that Jacob deGrom came out of the MRI clean after hyperextending his elbow, going just 4 innings in his last start. Today they announced they're putting him on the disabled list. Story hits a ground ball to second, 1 out to the second baseman, Cabrera. So deGrom to the DL. He has been their best. In fact, if you take deGrom and Syndergaard, the Mets have been really good, which is not a surprise. You're talking about 2 elite guys. The rest of the rotation has really struggled.
Not so good.
5-1 for DeGrom and Syndergaard this year with a very tidy 2.46 ERA. The rest of the staff 3-9, a 6.35 earned run average. Now they'll be without DeGrom for we'll see how long.
I was surprised they didn't put him on immediately. I know he said, "Oh, I'm good," but you hyperextend your elbow, and then you could go up into the biceps. You could alter your delivery, and yes, that is Jacob DeGrom with short hair.
This ball hammered deep left field, way back, and this one is gone. Ian Desmond turned on that and hit his 5th jack of the year, making it 2-1. That is the first ball that he has hit with that kind of authority on the pull side this year.
Remember last night he pulled one foul, and I thought, okay, it's starting to get there. He's starting to get a little bit of the timing back. Hit a line drive laser to center field, but then on the Subaru Supermo, gets a nice separation, and the timing. That's been his issue. The timing has just been off ever so slightly. Didn't miss it there. Ian's 5th home run, 15 RBIs.
I mean, this is great to see at any point, but it's really good to see against a right-handed pitcher, and then you throw in it's a right-handed pitcher of the ilk of Noah Syndergaard. Spilly, you had a front row view of that, and you've talked and you break down swings all the time, you and Jeff. He's had trouble with timing. He was on time there.
Well, I think it's due in part because he's facing a guy like Syndergaard where the fastball is 97 to 100 miles an hour. It almost forced him to get his swing ready earlier, and we've been talking about this for a while. I think Ian's been watching the baseball and trying to see it before swinging. I think he was getting himself ready. He saw a pitch he could handle, and then he let it eat. It was great to see. The guys in the clubhouse were great. They were just smiling at each other. It's like, all right, he's starting to get it. Head nods.
Well, and remember, Spilly, he got off to a pretty good start. I think people forget that because you look at the average coming in the game at 177. But the first week to even 10 days.
He was outstanding.
Yeah, he was.
But he was 8 for 70 this year prior to that swing against right-handed pitching. A 114 average. That came off his bat at 107 miles an hour.
I think the last thing to pay attention to when a right-hander starts to hit against righties, it's basically telling you his timing is getting closer. Because when you're late, that's the numbers you're going to see with Ian Desmond. It's the front shoulder is going to pull out. You can't read slider away. If he can see fastball and now he keeps his shoulder in, it's closer to Nolan Arenado swing-wise than where Ian has been.
I got a question for both of you. Have you noticed with his BP, and we watch BP every day, and just the approach there, that he's been a little less steep?
Steep with the bat angle.
Right.
Yeah.
Spilly, what do you have as Walters walks?
I do too. You can, if you're on time, Drew and Huey, if you're on time with your swing, it's not about the bat angle. The bat angle will get through the path and the strike zone. If you're late or if you're early, if your timing's off, that's how your swing comes in and out of the zone. It's just your body trying to catch up to hitting a baseball. If you're on time in BP, you get the launch angle. If you're late, you hit ground ball to short.
Walters draws a walk, which will clear Kyle Freeland here in the 2nd inning.
So what Spilly's talking about is so you're in your stance here like this, you're ready to hit, but if you don't have that timing, you'll start to get to this point, but then you really feel like I gotta do this. So then the bat comes over the top. It doesn't create that natural lift that what you're trying to accomplish as a hitter. And I think what I've seen in Spilly, and I've talked about a lot, is even during batting practice now, you're starting to see that timing issue come, and it's so frustrating for a player because you know what you're doing, but you can't get out of your own way sometimes.
This is off the glove of Syndergaard and still fielded it short by Rosario to get the force on Tony Walters. Well, the Rockies get on the board. Ian Desmond hits one 405 feet to left.
2-1. Kyle Freeland on an off day Thursday was here in New York. So he basically went to the USGA, traveled to go check it out because Kyle Freeland is an avid golfer. The USGA campus is in New Jersey, Liberty Corner. Had an opportunity to look at how shafts were built, how the ball travels off the club face. He even went and took some swings outside. I think they checked his handicap. He's still a scratch golfer in his time in high school as a very good high school golfer. That's a nice swing. Not only did he do that on his off day, he went and saw the Stephen Colbert show. That night it was Charlie Theron and Ron Howard, the director, now picking up Star Wars, and he absolutely loved it. Great day in the Big Apple, as tourists like to call it. That's what Kyle did on Thursday, guys.
That's a busy day. That's a full day. Here's Freeland against the catcher, Jose Lobaton. Kyle's very serious about his golf game. Two best players on the 25-man staff right now. 25-man roster. Kyle Freeland, #1. Brooks Pounder's a good player.
Pounders can pound it a mile.
This is line to right, and David will have to kind of knock it down with his chest. So a leadoff single for Lobaton, 4th single already for the Mets, and that'll bring up Syndergaard. Spilly?
Got to make a correction. I called her Charlie Theron. I was thinking of Charlie Blackman. Charlize Theron.
I was wondering about that. I thought, well, maybe you were on, I thought you were on a first-name basis with her.
Me and her, we go way back. I'm
Right.
a big fan of her movies. We've had dinner a couple times. I mean, it's nothing big.
Yeah.
That's her nickname, Charlie.
You're a big fan of hers, and there's a long list of people behind you who are large fans as well.
Yeah, she's a big fan of me too, Drew. I would never have guessed it, but she follows me on Twitter, and yeah.
Charlie does, or Charlie's.
Yeah,
which one?
Charlie and Thornton.
Yeah, Charlie and Thornton, you got it mixed up. Syndergaard. 1 ball, 1 strike. Out of Mansfield, Texas. Looks like the model for the Harlequin romance novels, right?
Need the fans blowing and that's field outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Two and 2. Syndergaard seeing if the bunt will be put back on. There's Glenn Sherlock. Sherlock, one of the holdovers from last year's staff. Glenn, former member of the Diamondbacks coaching staff. And that's the first out. Strikeout of Syndergaard. First strikeout today as well for Kyle Freeland. That'll bring up Ahmed Rosario. Join in on the conversation today. Send us your questions, comments, photos, pictures of Spilly and Charlie on Twitter using the hashtag TwitterTalk.
Oh boy.
Spilly, any other Hollywood starlets that you're on a first-name basis with we should know about?
People that I'm like really close and good friends with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I can butcher their names.
Yeah.
Betty Midler's really good friends. Known each other for a while. Big fan. I'll have to think of some more.
Does she follow you on Twitter also?
No, she doesn't have a Twitter account.
Okay.
Way inside.
I haven't seen a guy do a headstand at the plate since young Kim used to swing the bat.
Well, he would swing it, do a pirouette, then after he was done.
Yeah.
That was a classic.
There was some different stuff going on when he was swinging the bat. 2-1. I would not want to be inside Spilly's brain. How he came up with Bette Midler out of the blue is interesting.
This is Spilly.
You know how good I am with names, Drew. I just come up with this stuff off the cuff.
Brilliant.
I mean, did you not hear the power couple here in New York?
Go ahead.
It's Drewy.
Oh, God.
That's what Jenny was trying to tell
I
you.
know.
It's all over page 6.
A page you don't want to be in.
No.
This is fouled off. Page 6, a reference to the New York Post, where there are, the word salacious is often used to describe the details of stories on page 6 in the New York Post. It's inside, 3-2.
Well, you see on the Subaru strike zone where they're trying to work Rosario.
We were talking about game plan. I'd say the game plan for Freeland was to bust Rosario in. Popped up, third base line. Nolan coming down the lane. 2 outs. Bill, you got a page 6 story for us?
Well, you all know Jason Giambi. We love Big G. And he told me about this time he was on page 6 when he was with the Yankees. And he was at a charity convention. He was at a dinner, and they took a picture. And page 6 snapped a picture of him with 4 or 5 people, and there were 4 or 5 good-looking women. And the caption was, Jason Giambi with a bevy of brunettes. And he was like, what? But those are the type of captions that they got. And he was at a charity event.
Just all innocent.
All innocent, but he loved the bevy of brunettes. He thought it was great.
So you know what the back page of the Post was today? The back page always the sports side. The Yankees won, what did I say, 14 out of 15? You correct me. I said, all right, 15 out of 16, 14 out of 15. And let me see that again, Dougie. Oh, there it is. Okay. On the hill yesterday, this ball's launched foul. On the hill yesterday for the Yankees, who pitched a very fine ball game, with Sonny Gray. So naturally, the headline in the back page of the Post was Sunny Side Up. SONN.
Right, yeah.
You know my all-time favorite New York Post.
Yes, I'll let you go ahead and tell it, though.
Headless man found a topless bar. That goes back about 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah. Outside, 1-2. Those guys have some fun.
They do.
The headline editors of the New York Post. 1-2 on Lagares. Cuts inside, 2-2.
Well, the Yankees winning 14 out of 15. That's the first time they've done that since 1998.
It's a good baseball team. On the ground to third, Nolan on the move, and a nice pick at first by Desmond. So Freeland gave up a leadoff single to Lobatone, and he gets the next 3. 2-1 score. Blackman will be up first.
baseball, we look back at Nolan Arenado's road trip. The last 4 games, 4 home runs, 8 RBIs, a slugging over 1,000. Think back to the home run he had off Yu Darvish, straight dead center when Yu Darvish was first pitched 96 miles an hour. Then last night, he said with everything he's got, ended up hitting the Big Apple. Let's take a look at some of the numbers since returning back from suspension. 352 batting average, 7 home runs, 15 RBIs, a 13 runs scored, an OPS at 1,200. You think those 5 days were important? I think both physically and mentally for him to just get that break from baseball, which was unfortunate to ever take a break. But Nolan has obviously come back better than ever. It's almost like he's headless at the plate.
Nice. I see trying to work a little New York Post history into your broadcast. Very nice. Changeup for strike 1 on Charlie. And one of the great things about Blackmon and Arenado in particular is they are never satisfied, no matter how glowing the numbers were from the previous season or even the previous day.
You combine the work ethic with talent, and that's what you get. Guys that just always say, okay, what can I do better? Self-evaluate themselves.
2-strike count on Charlie. And Charlie ropes a base hit on a slider down and in. Pretty piece of hitting there for Blackmon. Leadoff single, tying run aboard here in the top of the 3rd. David Dahl coming up, soft line out to short.
So he struck
his
out
first
on a
day-bait
changeup the first time at 90 miles an hour. Now with a 93-mile-an-hour slider, wanted it away. You can see how Lobaton had to reach back on the Subaru Supermo. Charlie just laces it to right field. That's an 8-game hitting streak now for Chuck Nasty.
Good swing by Dahl. Syndergaard is somebody you can run against.
Yeah, he's won 4 at times, won 5 to the plate. Maybe once in a blue moon he'll slide step, but for the most part it's just going to be a high leg kick, and if you time it you should be able to steal it. Charlie had one of the 2 Rocky stolen bases last night in the game. The other one was Trevor's 7th of the year.
One strike on Dahl. And Dahl loops this one to shallow right. It's going to drop. And Charlie is going to keep going. He stopped for a moment. And fortunately, Jay Bruce really didn't have a play. So it's 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Sharp single and a bloop single. You'll take it if you're Dahl.
Yeah.
And here comes Nolan.
Well, because this got all in the kitchen, but just powered it out to short right field. Charlie going around second. Hold up. No. That's when he relied on Stu Cole to wave him over to third, because where that ball was, and Stu had a better look at it in relation to where Jay Bruce was.
Arenado sitting on 21 RBIs. Dahl, who can really run, draws a throw.
Numbers do go up against Thor in the 2nd and 3rd time through the lineup.
Dahl takes off. Lobaton won't throw, and now it's 2nd and 3rd. The Rockies just keep pressing the envelope. What a complete contrast to last year. And I know we've talked about the low stolen base number and percentage a year ago. And now the Rockies among the more aggressive running teams in baseball.
Well, and running at the right times too. That's the other thing, is that David knew with Charlie at third, he was going to get a high leg kick with Nolan at the plate.
Good swing by Nolan.
So that's 24 stolen bases as a club for Colorado. 24 out of 31.
When do you philosophically, Nolan's one of the best hitters in the game, power hitter, RBI machine, against a guy like Syndergaard, he obviously wants to get the ball in play.
Yes.
Do you go into that mode when you get to 2 strikes, or is it even with a 1-1 situation you're in that mode?
I think for Nolan it's even 1-1 because he hunts the RBIs. Now it's definitely a case where he will do it. But I think for Nolan, he knows the situations.
So he'll cut down a little bit even early in the count.
Well, and that's why we see him go so many times to right field.
You know, Syndergaard, who produces a great number of strikeouts, is trying to hunt one right here. He has struck out only 1 so far, and that was Charlie leading off the ball game on a changeup away. Nolan 1 for 3 and a walk in his career against Syndergaard. The one was a home run. He's hit 4 home runs in his last 5 games. I'm looking at Juan Lagares in center field. He's one of those old-time center fielders in that he's outstanding, but he plays very shallow. Look at that.
That is for this ballpark.
That's what you usually get for the light-hitting pitcher.
That kind of depth, but obviously feels more confident going back on the baseball.
Great speed on board. 2-2. 3-2 now with Parra on deck. 2-1 New York. They got 2 in the first against Freeland. Ian Desmond clicked a home run with 1 out in the second.
Do you challenge him here? That's the question.
Three and 2. He did, and he missed downstairs. Actually, that was his changeup. So he didn't come after him with the fastball, and now they're loaded up for Parra, and there'll be a meeting before that at bat takes place as Dave Island is running out. Bases loaded, nobody out. A wonderful opportunity for the Rockies, as we tell you, when the Rockies score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Más at Taco Bell. You don't get many of these opportunities in any kind of ball game, much less when you're facing a guy like Syndergaard.
Remember, we were talking about it in our open. Who blinks first? You know, Kyle gave up the 2 runs in the first inning. Off of the first 3 batters had 3 hits. But now for the Rockies, they have the opportunity with Charlie at third, David at second, and Nolan at first to put on not just 1, but this is where you're looking at 2, 3 runs.
Ball 1 on Parra, hitting cleanup for the 35th time in his career. 31 times last year, so he had barely done it prior to last year, and he responded. Last year he hit .318 with 3 home runs, batting 4th. 1-0. Good 2-0.
That is a really good job, because think about the last pitch he threw to Nolan was an off-speed pitch. The first pitch to Gerardo was an off-speed. So you're thinking, man, I'm getting a fastball. I'm going to get a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Instead, on the Subaru Supermo, he gets a changeup. So 3 in a row.
Here's a guy who sits on 98, and he hasn't thrown a fastball in
that's what I'm saying.
Like 5 minutes.
For Gerardo to lay off that.
2-0, now 3-0.
Okay. It's got to take here, right?
Absolutely. And I know last night it came up, and I think that you know, sometimes guys miss signs and things happen, but you know, Gerardo's been around the block many times. I know Spilly likes being super aggressive in these situations, especially early. Ball 4. He just walked in the tying run, never threw a strike to Parra, and it'll bring up Trevor Story. I was going to say a moment ago, Huey, that when you have the bases loaded, nobody out, to me, the minimum you want to get out of it is 2.
2. Exactly
that's the
right.
minimum.
Yeah, that's what you. If you don't, even in 1, you kind of feel disappointed. You feel cheated. Like, that's not the number we should have gotten. And when you're going against somebody like Noah Syndergaard, I mean, 2 or 3 makes it feel like you got 4 or 5.
And now Story at the plate. 2 career grand slams.
Guys, I want to jump in on the 3-0 conversation. I think the scoreboard dictates everything. And last night, David Dahl specifically, as a pinch hitter, I don't want to give away strikes. When it's the 3rd inning and there's nobody out, last night's a different scenario. Rockies had a 1-0 lead. There's a pinch hitter. There's 2 outs. I'd like it when guys are aggressive. That one right there, I would have put a take on for Gerardo.
Here's the 0-1 to Story, and it's 0-2.
And you can hear in the background, Spilly, you're right down there. You can hear Buddy Black say, put it in play.
This is where I'd like to see hitters start choking up a little bit more. We've heard major league hitters like a guy like Corey Dickerson, who the Rockies have seen, make a pretty significant adjustment. He choked up on the bat, and he's just trying to hit the baseball, not trying to overswing.
0-2. Good take there. 1-2. The other thing about getting it in play, if you're Trevor Story, even if he hits it on the ground, the likelihood of doubling up Trevor, and again, there's nobody out, is very low. So if he clears the mound and doesn't hit it sharply at the 3rd baseman, a run's going to score. Another good take.
It was well off the Subaru strike zone. I think Trevor, too, can just forget about anything from middle in. Had good action on the Subaru Supermo, but where Lobaton had set up was off the plate initially.
A run in, bases loaded, nobody out, 2-2. And he got him off the plate there. So 1 out, and that'll bring up Ian Desmond. Second strikeout for Syndergaard.
And Ian has to be feeling pretty good right now after what he did in the 2nd inning to Noah. Turn on the fastball, that he just dropped the bat, because then it was just a matter of how far did it travel. 5th home run, 15th RBI. Looking to add on some more.
At the knees, a called strike. went. 2 strikes. Now same situation for Desmond that.
Got to find a way to get it in play.
Yeah, Story just faced.
But where has Syndergaard gone though? When he's gotten in trouble, he's got glove side. Everything away from the right-hander.
And this is bounced up the middle, and they're going to turn it over. And the Rockies get only 1, and that was the bases-loaded walk. So Syndergaard, after giving up a run, still nobody out, works out of it. 2-2 going to the bottom of the 3rd. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By StubHub. Rockies fans, get your tickets at StubHub, official partner of the Colorado Rockies. And by Papa John's, use code ROXWIN for 50% off pizzas at papajohns.com the next day. First pitch called ball one on Brandon Nimmo. This is his first at bat. He came in the top of the 2nd to replace Yoenis Cespedes, who left with right hip tightness, is what we've been told from the Mets clubhouse. So Nimmo, who started on Friday and Saturday. A look at Freeland, and that pitch is outside, 2-1. Well, the way that inning was unfolding, Noah Syndergaard has to be thrilled to get out of there only giving up 1.
2 strikeouts on the day for Noah, and then that was also the Mets' 19th double play that they've turned.
And Desmond hit it in an unfortunate spot. There's a strikeout of Nimmo. In that, if he hits it virtually anywhere else, it's going to be hard to turn a double play with Desmond's speed, and the Rockies would get a run. Rockies news and notes are brought to you by All Coffee. Here's great news. Antonio Senzatella, who was sent out to work on starting pitching again as opposed to being a long reliever. And he started for the Topes, went 4 innings. A lot of run on just 2 hits, 8 strikeouts in those 4 innings, just 1 walk. So an outstanding outing for Antonio Senzatella.
Good for Antonio. What a great guy.
Terrific kid, and very talented kid. Slider on the back door is a strike on Cabrera. He singled in a run in the first. 3 straight singles. None of them hit particularly hard against Freeland in that first. And that's another good breaking ball.
That was a slider.
Yeah, he took a little something off it.
And that's something that he's continuing to work on. Take a little bit more off each and every pitch on some of those slower breaking pitches.
Oh, 2.
And I know some people say, well, he needs to throw it more, but if I'm out on the mound and I'm competing, I'm not going to get beat with my third or fourth best pitch.
You're going to fall back on what's comfortable, what's reliable.
Right.
Change up. 2-2.
One final note for Antonio. Through 64 pitches, 42 for strikes, Drew.
Yeah, all good stuff from that start last night for Sensatella.
Kyle and Tony trying to get on the same page what they want to throw.
Strike 3 on the outside corner. That was a beauty. Cabrera didn't like it, but Eric Cooper said, yep, got the outer edge.
Kyle's, he shook to that. Tony had put down a changeup first. He said, no, I want to go to my slider. See the red dot on the Subaru Supermo. Cabrera thought it was out. It wasn't. It was on the corner.
Todd Frazier, a sac fly on a 3-0 pitch in the first inning. Hit it to deep right. Dahl made the catch on the warning track in the corner. Ball 1. So DeGrom's on the DL. Retroactive to the day after his last start a few days ago. The Mets did not make a corresponding move yet, so they're playing, in theory, a man down, but you know their bullpen's full because DeGrom's a starter. It's Mickey Callaway. Off the end of the bat, and it's run down out there by Parra. Nicely done. So a 1-2-3 third inning. First 1-2-3 inning for Freeland, and the Rockies will try to get back after Noah Syndergaard in a 2-2 affair. Time for our CenturyLink high-speed challenge question. Go to AT&T Sportsnet ARM on Twitter to cast your vote, and we'll show you the final tallies during the post-game show. So if you're visiting New York and could have only one food, that would be a real shame. What would it be? A pastrami sandwich, slice of New York's finest pizza, the dirty water dog, or a bagel?
I'm going with B.
Going with a slice from Ray's, though I grew up eating a ton of bagels from B&H Bagels on Broadway.
Yeah, that is my vote.
Yeah,
Every day of the week.
Never was a pastrami guy.
Oh, I like pastrami. Don't get me wrong.
My dad gobble up pastrami sandwiches, but
Yeah,
I would definitely go pizza. 1 ball, 1 strike on Castro. And that's back up the middle, a base hit for Daniel. He just finds a way, doesn't he?
yeah, that was reminiscent of his swing on Friday night. Seeing eye base hit up the middle where the top hand comes off the bat, but get it in play. Well, Friday drove in 2 runs. This one is just a leadoff single. The Subaru Supermo. Notice how he's choked up on the bat, still able to reach that pitch though. Syndergaard tried to kick it to no avail.
Yeah, I agree with you. That looked almost identical to the 2-run single. Here's Tony Walters. Mr. Big Fly.
It's not the shot heard around the world, but it was pretty far.
It's heard around the Rockies clubhouse.
So we're talking about the Rockies and their stolen bases. 24 for 31 this year. It's 77.4%, which is 7th in the major leagues. Last year, their percentage just 63.4%, the worst in all of baseball.
Ball 1 on Tony. He's now faced Syndergaard 3 times. You know what he's done all 3 times? He's walked.
Seeing him good.
Syndergaard hasn't faced the Rockies since July of 2016. Last year he made just 7 starts. He had the torn lat issue last year and basically missed most of the season.
Remember, he'd kind of changed his workout routine over the winter, tried to bulk up, tried to be a little bit bigger, stronger. This year more yoga, stretching.
Look at
Heads up.
Tony did that the other day.
Wow.
Did that get Mickey Callaway on the rebound, or Glenn Sherlock?
Glenn Sherlock, I think. The bench. Gary's the bench. Glenn Sherlock, third base coach, is who
he
it
doesn't
hit.
want the bat. You see that?
Yeah. Just
he said keep it. I've never seen that before, where it ends up in the other team's dugout and he just says, you guys can have it.
Yeah, you have it. I don't like that one. Ouch. My apologies. Getting word that the bat broke. That's why he's like, you just keep it. Once it hit that concrete, I think that's what. Forget it. I don't need it. I don't want to even give it away as a souvenir.
It's hard to tell. Did it miss Sherlock?
I think.
Or graze him?
I would have got him in the back of the head.
Fortunately, it didn't hit him flush. If it did catch Glenn.
Daniel, be aware of a ball down in the dirt now.
This is in the air to Nimmo and left. One out, and that'll bring up Freeland. Rockies won yesterday 2-0. It was the 5th time they've shut out the Mets in New York. First time they've done that since 2012. And you know who started that ball game in 2012? We just saw him. Tyler Chatwood. 4 relievers followed Chatwood.
Right?
And this gets away, and Castro is going to move up on the low throw to Flores. Usually they'll give the error to the pitcher. Though I'm not so sure that Flores shouldn't have caught that.
Yeah, never hits the dirt. Maybe it did, just right in front of the glove.
They do give it to Syndergaard.
In any event, that's the first error this year on Noah. 18th for the Mets.
Help your own cause, Kyle Freeland. Kyle was in the dugout about 2 hours before the ball game today by himself and taking dry swings.
He was the only guy out right then. A few other pitchers were throwing out in the outfield.
Oh, 2. Rockies have had traffic in every inning against Syndergaard. They're making him work.
64 pitches, 37 for strikes for Noah.
Two outs, that'll bring up Charlie.
We got a special event next Saturday because the first 10,000 fans through the gates for the Rockies Brewers game on Saturday will receive a Rockies toothbrush courtesy of Delta Dental. May 12th. Don't want to miss that one.
Blackman a strikeout, and then on an 0-2 slider, he ripped a base hit to right. Charlie scored last inning when Parra walked with the bases loaded. 2-2.
That single in the third was on the slider. He's seen everything this third time through against Noah.
Castro base hit, moved to second on an error by Syndergaard. Two strikes on Blackman. Home runs for Charlie, second in the National League to Harper. Charlie drives this ball to deep right. Bruce is going to have a play though, and he makes the catch. Castro left at second, middle of 4. The Rockies 2 and the Mets 2. Back to Citi Field after this. The Mets will have Wilmer Flores, Jay Bruce, and Jose Lobaton. The Rockies' upcoming home schedule is brought to you by Remax. So Monday will be an off day. The Angels are in for 2 ball games. Shohei Ohtani is scheduled to throw today for the Angels, so the Rockies will see him as a position player, maybe. We'll see. We've just been pitching and DHing. And the probables, the lefty Andrew Haney against John Gray on Tuesday, and then Jaime Barria and Tyler Anderson on Wednesday afternoon. And the Brewers, as you see, are in for 4 ball games. 2-0 on Wilmer Flores. He got jammed his first time up and hit a little pop-up to short. Flores has been around now, the Mets, since 2013. He became a national baseball figure for a time in 2015 when he openly showed emotion at being traded for Carlos Gomez of the Brewers at the time. And then, you know, Gomez was originally a Met, and then the Mets didn't like the medical on Gomez.
Yeah.
They backed out of the deal, and Flores was just so thrilled to stay with New York and a leadoff walk. And that really endeared him to the New York Mets fans around the metropolitan area, the tri-state area.
He's been with the organization since he was a pup.
Yeah, and he has obviously remained with them since then, and is a very popular figure for a guy that's kind of a role player.
He started out as kind of the everyday shortstop. Now morphed into the utility role on the infield.
Jay Bruce fouls that off.
Kind of a defensive swing for the first pitch for Jay Bruce.
That's a fair description.
It's like, I see it, don't want to swing, but I'm already committed.
And this gets under the glove. Castro to Freeland. Safe. He wasn't on the bag. Desmond couldn't come up with it. Castro did. And had Freeland touched the bag, it looked like he was there in front of Jay Bruce.
I think he also might have twisted his ankle. So it goes off the glove. Castro then has to underhand it to Kyle.
Yeah, he missed initially.
Okay, right. Oh, I think he brushed it with maybe on the outside of his foot.
They're going to take a look at it. Oh, he did.
Yeah, he did. So they will review this one.
That's a tough call for Chad Fairchild, because initially he sees a miss and he's trying to re-stab at the bag, and
right there, the top of his foot gets on and he is out.
Yep. So that's a nice break. Instead of 2 on, nobody out, Flores goes to second, and that'll be scored 3-4-1 on the putout. Flores at second. Lobaton lined a single to right his first time. David Dahl really shortened up in right field close to the line. You have Syndergaard on deck. Outside.
Well, Lobaton 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position this year.
This is fouled off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rockies began the day 3.5 back in the NL West behind Arizona.
A.J. Pollock with the game winner last night against Houston.
Had a great start for Arizona. Giants have been playing well.
They've won 3 in a row.
Just a half game behind the Rockies in 3rd place. Two and one. Padres beat the Dodgers down in Monterey yesterday, so they're now 15 and 18. San Diego still 10 games beneath 500. 2 balls and a strike on Lobaton with Flores at second.
So that was after getting no hit the night before. Combined no-hitter for the Dodgers on Friday night.
Well, right now the Yankees, Domingo Germán has not allowed a hit through 6 innings.
And also Clayton Kershaw on the 10-day DL now, as you see on the note there, with bicep tendonitis.
Two. Got him.
Got him. Great pitch.
Great pitch. And he needed that strikeout. So now they're 2 gone. You can't lower your guard. You have Noah Syndergaard coming up.
That's a biting slider underneath the hands of Lobaton.
4 strikeouts in the ball game for Kyle. Syndergaard struck out in the 2nd inning. Slider. Syndergaard's hit 4 home runs in his Mets career. He hit 2 in 1 game in Los Angeles against Kenta Maeda. And having grown up here, growing up as a Mets fan, I remember Tom Seaver would occasionally hit a home run. He hit 6. The Mets all-time record for pitchers is another guy who was a great pitcher. I see the gears working in your head.
Yeah, and smoke's coming out of my ears. I'm trying to think.
You faced him.
Faced him. Doc?
Doc Good. He hit 7. 0-2. Swung on and missed. Good job by Freeland. Wilmer Flores left at second. And we'll go to the 5th inning with the Rockies and Mets tied at 2. To honor the late Rusty Staub. The Mets, all of baseball, really all of humanity lost him this offseason. Rusty Staub, Le Grand Orange, who had the distinction of producing 500+ hits for 4 different teams. He was twice with the Mets in the early 70s and again in the early 80s. He had a very popular restaurant in Midtown for a number of years, did so many philanthropic things, and maybe most importantly, he's our Doug Marino's all-time favorite baseball player. And he's one of 4 major league players to hit a home run as a teenager and then after 40. And if you're wondering the other 3, Ty Cobb, Gary Sheffield, and Alex Rodriguez. He helped raise over $100 million for charities in his lifetime.
I think that's the legacy that
he's probably most proud of.
Exactly. I mean, you're proud of what happens on a baseball field and that legacy, but raising over $100 million is special.
That is something else. Finished his career 279, 292 home runs, 2,700+ hits, 499 doubles. And he wasn't getting any leg doubles.
No, he wasn't.
He was a great pinch hitter in the latter part of his career. At one point, he had 8 straight pinch hits. Think about that.
I know.
You did that in
That's
your career.
hard.
8 straight pinch hits. Here's David Dahl.
Ooh, you get 2 or 3 in a row, you think you're standing on top of the world. You do it 8 straight times.
It's the 3rd time through now for the Rockies against Thor.
Well, the 3rd time through against Noah. Batting average against him, 308.
Well, that's loud toward right center field, and it's off the glove of the normally sure-handed Lagares, and that'll go for a double. So David Dahl and the go-ahead run at second. The former Gold Glove winner Lagares got in the neighborhood. He just didn't make the catch.
Well, it's still playing shallow center field. I'm watching him track this the whole way, and he overran it on the Subaru Supermo.
Straight double, and Dahl's now 2 for 3. And here's Nolan, 2 walks against Syndergaard, who has not thrown him many fastballs.
A lot of change-ups.
Fastball there. 0-1.
Right off the foot of Nolan. Closer look on the Subaru Supermo. I thought it was off the foot, it was off the shin. Either way, they both hurt. I've done them both. One does not feel better than the other.
Immediately taking a hammer to the bone when he hit the shin. 1-1. 1974 was the first season that they started keeping track of batting average with runners in scoring position. Tell you about that in a moment. It's 1-1. 2-1. So since that became a stat, people followed it. 1974. The best career average was Tony Gwynn. Tony hit 350 with runners in scoring position.
Makes sense.
A guy who became a good friend of yours and your hitting coach at one point, Rod Carew, hit 347. And then Nolan at 337. He was fooled there, 2-2.
Hall of Fame company.
And this guy is on a Hall of Fame trajectory. Go-ahead run at second, and David Dahl, who has wonderful speed. Rockies loaded the bases with nobody out in the 3rd. Gerardo Parra up. and Syndergaard missed 4 straight pitches to force in a run. Story then fell behind 0-2, worked it to 2-2 and struck out. And then Desmond, who was behind 0-2, hit a bouncer up the middle that Cabrera grabbed, touched the bag, and threw to first. So in a situation where it looked like the Rockies were going to have a huge inning, they got just 1. Now it's 3-2.
A lot of stressful pitches today for Noah.
Well, again, he has not had a clean inning. In the first inning, he walked Nolan with 2 outs.
And that might have been the only inning where it was a little less stressful.
Just talked about the third. In the second, Desmond hit a long home run against him. Then he walked Walters with 2 outs. Last inning, he gave up a leadoff single to Castro, and then on a pick attempt, he threw it away. So Castro moved to second. 3-2. Ground ball to short. Rosario. Dahl obviously couldn't cross over. 1 out, and that'll bring up Parra.
And the next time you're at a Rockies game, make sure to buy a 50/50 raffle ticket to help local students through MSU Denver and have the chance to take home half of the jackpot. Some jackpots get pretty big, pretty large. Just walk away with a little extra cash.
Never a bad thing. Dahl's going to try to move up. Out at third base.
And he's out because Todd Frazier blocked the bag with his foot. That's the only reason. He went to slide in there, but his foot never got to the bag.
He's reading dirt ball here, and he's trying to move up. Lobaton pounces on it.
Just watch the slide, though.
Yeah, he never did get to the bag.
Never got to the bag. When he gets to the bag, he's gonna slide underneath there. Subaru Supermo puts a foot there, slide right into it, out.
And this ball lays toward the gap, and it's going to run to the wall. So Parra will have a double, second double of the inning. You play woulda, coulda, shoulda all you want at home. I can hear everybody saying that.
Well,
but
if he would've just,
yeah, but you're going to try to be aggressive. We talked about it last night. That has to be the mantra across the board. The scoreboard, as Spilly so accurately pointed out, always dictates. It's a 2-2 game. Dahl runs exceptionally well. If he gets to third with 1 out, now you force the hand of the Mets. Do they pull the infield in? It makes the at-bat easier to drive in the run for Parra. Sometimes, listen, the other team made a good baseball play.
That's right, and somebody blocked the bag. You know, that's what he's doing too. He's trying to prevent it.
See if Story can pick him up. This ball in the air toward deep right. Bruce gets over, makes the catch. So 2 doubles, but the Rockies do not score in the inning. And it's still 2-2.
Kyle takes the mound. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Mets. And Rosario with a pop-up to Nolan his first time up. After the first inning for Kyle, where he gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, just 1 hit since and 1 walk, 5 strikeouts.
Here's the 1-1 to Rosario. Outside, 2-1. Chance for a New York sweep for the Rockies today. 71st pitch is in there.
It's just 6-13 over the last 19 games.
Well, they got off to an unbelievable start. Won 11 of their first 12. I think all baseball teams, obviously you're going out trying to win every game. You know the reality of 162 games, but you try to put you try to put 3 or 4 streaks together where it's 7 in a row, 10 out of 11, 8 out of 9, and if you don't have the other extreme, when you add it up at the end of the year, you have a chance to be an 88+ win team.
Yeah, that's
and you're going to be in the thick of playing in the postseason.
Stay out of those long ditches.
Right.
And it's a cliche, but players talk about it, coaches, just win series. Just win series, and that piles up the wins. I think what the Rockies have done out on the road this year at 14-8. The first road trip they went 4-3. The second road trip in Washington, Pittsburgh, they went 5-2. They're already 5-3 on this one.
They've done a spectacular job on the road, given a couple factors. They've played in some cold weather. They've spent a ton of time on the road. Charlie, this ball's carrying a little bit. He'll get back and make the catch. 1 out, and that'll bring up Juan Lagares. And if you pitch well anywhere, you're going to win. And on the road, they have the 6th best road ERA. But you know what I look at? Look at that whip. Look at the opponent batting average, 216, second best. The whip, which the league average is usually around 1.3. They're at 118. Less traffic, less possibility you're going to get hurt.
Well, that's why they've already won 5 games out on the road where they've scored 2 runs or less. 5.
Last year, 6 the whole year. This is popped up and playable. Story called off Castro.
Well, first 10,000 fans through the gates on Mother's Day next Sunday will receive a Colorado Rockies Mother's Day bracelet.
Here's Brandon Nimmo, his second at bat. He struck out his first time. Again, Yoenis Cespedes started, left after 1 inning with a strained hip. Cespedes singled and scored in the first inning. The Mets' 2 runs came in the first. First 3 hitters had singles and then a sac fly by Frazier. Nimmo was a tremendous high school football player, and then on the first, literally in the first quarter of his junior year, he's starting to get college attention. He blew out his knee.
ACL.
And then fast forward a year later, and he still wanted to play, but baseball had become so prominent in his life from an opportunity maybe to play professionally. That is a foul ball.
He was
So
telling
he gave
us
up football.
Yeah, he was telling us the story even going into his junior year. Some people were trying to talk him out of it. He said, no, you know, I still love football. I want to play. And then he said as soon as it happened, as he was going to the ground, literally, the thought was going through his head, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah. He said everything slowed down. He said I didn't feel any pain until I hit the ground, but I knew that it had popped. 2-2 on Nimmo. And that's a strong inning from Freeland. 1, 2, 3 in the 5th. Matching wits and pitch for pitch with Noah Syndergaard this afternoon in Queens. Desmond will lead off when we come back. Today on a new episode of the Club, Bud Black shares his fond and not so fond memories of Wrigley Field. And while in Chicago, a Rockies rookie, you've seen this, treated his teammates to coffee, every one of them. Plus, Kyle Freeland made his way over to the U.S. Golf Association's campus in Jersey. We'll have much more. That's on the Club later on today. Desmond swings at a slider, and it's 0-1. Desmond, a long home run in the 2nd inning. On a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, he turned on it, grounded into a double play with the bases loaded in the 3rd. Desmond Castro Walters. 82 pitches in for Syndergaard. He's not had a clean inning yet. That home run that Desi hit in the 1st, in the 2nd, his 10th career home run at Citi Field.
All those years playing in the same division when he was with Washington.
There's a pretty good rivalry going there. You know, rivalries within a division, they always, you know, obviously the Yankees and Red Sox will always be big rivals. The Giants and Dodgers will always be big rivals. He went. But it changes over a period of time. Remember the Mets and the Braves for years?
Yeah.
And the Braves fell on some hard times. And kind of the Mets in Philadelphia back when Philly had it going, and now the Nationals and the Mets. Castro, a base hit up the middle in the 4th, 1 for 2. In Thor's last outing against the Braves, he gave up 7 hits against his fastball. Do you know that's the most he's ever given up in a game on his fastball?
That doesn't surprise me, though, when somebody throws like he does. You know, we do 97.3 miles an hour on the fastball. But it's not just that. It has some movement on it, too. It's not just a true four-seamer that's riding.
Castro thrown out by Frazier, and that'll bring up Walters. Max Scherzer's going today. Speaking of the Nationals, they're playing the Phillies, sometimes referred to as the fighting Phils.
Yeah.
It's the swing and miss Phils today. Through 5 innings, Scherzer has struck out 13.
Through 5?
Through 5. Everybody in the field, sit down on your glove. You will not be needed.
The only problem is he has 93 pitches through those 5. So I was thinking, well, there's a chance to get 20 strikeouts. But I don't think so with 93 pitches.
No, not happening.
No.
1-1 on Walters. Ooh,
that got it.
Clipped Tony.
That got it.
It's the second Rockies catcher in 2 days to get hit in the hand wrist area.
Subaru Supermo. Hard to tell, but I thought you could hear it for sure. I think you caught the bottom of Tony's hand.
And now the Mets
It's either
dugout
gonna
is,
go,
is accusing him of
stalling.
No, acting maybe that maybe he didn't get hit.
Oh, well, I was thinking stalling because Eric Cooper went over to Mickey and Mickey had his hand up like, hang on, wait a second. Finally, he was running over there saying, what do you want to do?
Right.
You want to challenge it or you don't want to challenge it? Let me know.
This guarantees that Syndergaard will not work a clean 6th inning. He's not worked a clean inning yet. Freeland, healthy cut, no baseball, 0-1.
And you also cleared the pitcher this inning.
That's a big deal.
That is.
Tony takes off. Logatone's not going to get him. That is one where you have to be safe. You absolutely have to be safe.
I don't think there were too many people in the ballpark that thought Tony was going to go. But you do. You have to know that I'm going to make it, because the last thing I want is to get thrown out at second. Boy, that was a Pete Rose head first, the way he got elevated. But I don't want to be thrown out and have that pitcher still at the plate.
The one thing that changes the thought process a little bit is where we are in the game, where if he did get thrown out there, Freeland goes out, pitches the next inning, you're probably in a pinch hitting situation in the 7th and wouldn't lead off Freeland.
Good point.
1-2. Be something though if Kyle could knock him in, wouldn't it? Well, not going to happen. So Tony got hit by a pitch and stole the Rockies' 3rd base of the afternoon. But it's still 2-2.
2-2. I love doing this game. We called it a spilled history. 2 truths and a lie on this date in baseball. May 6, 1998. Cubs rookie Kerry Wood, in just his 5th start, throws a complete game 1-hitter while breaking a major league record by striking out 20 Astros. The previous record was held by Steve Carlton, Tom Seaver, Roger Clemens, and David Cohn. The game was also the highest ever recorded game score of 105 for a 9-inning start, a Bill James metric. What is it? Where is the lie, boys?
Well, you know what? I know Seaver struck at 19. I'm pretty sure Clemens struck at 19. You know, Carlton and Cohn certainly could have. I don't know if they did. So my vote is going to be that you added a name that wasn't on there in C. What do you have, Huey?
C.
Very good. Kerry Wood tied the previous record held by Roger Clemens, who had 20 with the Boston
Clemens
Red
struck
Sox
out 20.
back in 1986.
Seaver, I know, struck out 19, 10 in a row.
So you were right. Seaver, Carlton, Cohn, it was all tied at 19 for the National League record of strikeouts in a game. Very good.
I like when you do this. You don't do it enough. 2 truths and a lie. Here's the 0-1 on Cabrera, and this ball's lifted to deep left. Parra hoping for a play. Leaps and makes the catch. Gerardo Parra takes away extra bases from Asdrubal Cabrera. Boy, can that guy play the outfield.
It doesn't matter what position. If it's right field, left field, you go to center field. Off the bat, this was not going to turn out well for Kyle and the Rockies, but Gerardo says, I've got your back. It's my birthday. I'm going to make a birthday type play. And then crashing into the wall on the Subaru Supermo. The ball right on the end of his glove.
Yeah, that was toward the end of the webbing. He takes such clean routes. How about the catch he made the other night?
Over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder, a la Willie Mays. Frazier takes a strike. Dougie wants me to note, because he's always very thorough with his research, that in 1962, Tom Cheney of the Washington Senators struck out 21, but that was in a 16-inning game. Back before there were bullpens. Ground ball right at Story. This catch by Parra is worthy of several more looks.
We talk about the jump and the route efficiency for Gerardo. He's running, he's kind of eyeballing, but then he takes 2 quick glances. The first time to see where he was, now one other time just to make sure that he knows once he hits that warning track that it's different, because he's running at an angle. Once you hit that warning track, you know you have an extra step, but if you're going straight back, it's going to come on you sooner.
Marvelous catch. Strike 1 on Wilmer Flores, a pop out and a walk. Young man from Valencia in Venezuela. And another slider and another strike. It's 0-2.
He's darting that outside corner on the Subaru strike zone.
He's had it the whole afternoon.
Yeah, he has. He's really found his rhythm.
Pitch number 91, and he works underneath it, shallow center field. That's a terrific inning with a little help from his buddy GP, Gerardo Parra. Top of the order for the Rockies in the 7th. We're tied at 2. Gerardo Parr, Kyle Freeland, I love you, brother.
Thank you.
I love you even more after you made that spectacular catch. Rockies will have the top of the order. Charlie Blackmon, and he's eyeballing a new arm on the mound. Jerry Blevins, the only lefty in the pen for the Mets. And so far for Jerry, he's had a couple of rough outings. He has an ERA of 6.43 and the opposition hitting 259, which is well above league average. Last year, the major league average for batting average was 255. This year, I know it's early. Warm weather really hasn't moved around the country on a regular basis yet, but it's down 10 points, Huey. It's 245, and the slugging percentage is down 24 points.
That's because all the strikeouts are up. A lot of different things. But for Jerry Blevins, just one of 10 relievers in the last 2 years to appear in 70 or more games.
Brian Shaw has 5 straight years of appearing in 70 plus. 0-1 on Charlie, a single in the third. He's 1 for 3. And he takes another strike. Jerry Blevins, we'd be remiss if we didn't tell you in Dougie's presence that Jerry Blevins is a product of the University of Dayton.
I thought you were supposed to say the University of Dayton
Flyers.
Jerry Blevins.
Oh,
that's how you were supposed to say it.
The Dayton Flyer, along with Craig Stammen. Charlie's 1 for 3, matching up with Blevins. Syndergaard gone after 6. He went 95 pitches today, 6 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits. He walked 4 and hit a batter and struck out 5, and he spent most of the afternoon in the stretch.
Yeah, I thought today what the Rockies did to him made him work. Out of the 95 pitches, there was probably 70 that were stressful type pitches.
The best work he did clearly was the 3rd inning. He'd already walked in a run. The bases are loaded, nobody out. It's 2-2. That could have very easily unraveled. Unfortunately for the Rockies, they were unable to get another run. A strikeout on a 2-2 pitch by Story, and then Desmond bounced into an inning-ending double play. Freeland has limited the Mets to just 4 hits. Did Charlie hold up? No. Not according to Mike Estabrook, who has the final say.
2018 has special theme day ticket packages for everyone, including Star Wars Night, Brewfest, Faith Day, and the newest theme nights, Beatles Tribute and Margaritaville Tribute. Visit Rockies.com/themes for more information.
Are those separate nights? For the
separate
same night?
No. So you wouldn't have to change, whatever you were doing if it was Star Wars Night.
No, I was like Beatles Night doesn't all of a sudden become like a bunch of parrot heads.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's separate theme nights.
Okay.
That would be hard though, because if you did want to, if you wanted to change your appearance and your outfit.
Dress up as Ringo Starr and then run into a bathroom and come out as a parrot head. 2-0.
Star Wars Night's always a big hit.
We're going to go down that path again.
No, I'm just saying that.
No, it's huge.
It's a big hit.
I think throughout baseball it is. 2-0 on Dahl. He roped a double his last time up. And now he's got a 3-0 count against Blevins. Two for 3 this afternoon for David. 3 for his last 4 at the plate, if you include the RBI pinch hit last night. (3-1). Good job waiting by Dahl.
71 miles an hour from the left side after you've seen 97 from the right side.
What has always been impressive about Dahl, and there's a long list of impressive things, and he's got a quick bat.
Yeah. Well, that's why you hit like you do.
And Dahl pops this one into foul ground. There's a lot of room over there, and Flores makes the catch. 2 outs.
Well, I think that'll bring Mickey Callaway out of the dugout, and it will. We'll go to the right-hander.
But here's what it does. By playing your only left-hander in Blevins, and you understand why Mickey Callaway did it. You got Blackman and Dahl at the top of the order. But now if you're Buddy Black, you have the advantage knowing going forward. He has Cargo on his bench, and he knows there's no lefty that can match up with Cargo. 2-2. We'll tell you about the pitching change next.
Than ever, you can watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.tv for more details. New pitcher for the Mets, former closer with the Marlins, A.J. Ramos. He had 27 saves last year combined between the Mets and the Marlins, 7th most in the National League. And 99 saves since 2015. The setup roll over here.
Yeah, Nolan's 1 for 8 lifetime against Ramos. Today, Nolan, a pair of walks and a ground ball to short against Syndergaard. And by the way, no handshakes for Kyle Freeland.
He's at 91 pitches. You're also looking at, too, you at least starting off with Jay Bruce, the left-hander, next inning. Then you got Lobaton, who he's struck out last time, and then the pinch hitter. And nobody up right now in the bullpen. I know Brian Shaw was up tossing maybe last half inning.
On the corner. Yeah, another factor, everybody in that rotation, which has been through 2 turns in a row, just pitching wonderful baseball. They'll get an extra day of rest because tomorrow's an off day. One, 2. Nolan fouls that off.
When you got to figure too, after the workload that Wade Davis had on Friday night and pitching again last night, he more than likely down today.
Adam Ottavino will close today.
So now if you can work out besides one more inning from Kyle, get the lead, then you're looking just to get the last 6 outs.
Yep. Everybody acknowledged that Wade would be down today. Ramos comes on and strikes out Arenado. Time to stretch in the Big Apple. The Rockies 2, the Mets 2. Let's check our Kubota pitching performance. Kyle Freeland, so far 6 innings, 2-run baseball. 4 hits, he has struck out 6, walked just 1. And he's going to continue on in the 7th inning as he'll face Jay Bruce. Rockies 2 and the Mets 2. The 2 runs the Mets got were in the 1st inning.
3 of the 4 hits that he's given up were in the 1st inning.
Were the first 3 hitters in the game for the Mets.
So Kyle has earned this right to stay in there. It's not just, well, trying to get it so it's only 2 innings to go. He's earned this. Brian Shaw will get up, though, to make sure he's ready in case there's any sort of traffic.
Bruce hit a fly ball to deep center and then hit a ground ball to the right side. It was deflected by Ian Desmond to Castro, and Castro hit the moving target being Kyle Freeland, and they had to review it because initially he was called safe at first, and then they reviewed it and realized that Kyle did on the 2nd attempt stab and touch the bag. He's had that good slider all day.
All day long. He's found the arm slot for it.
2 strikes on Bruce. Here's what works in the favor of Buddy sticking with Kyle Freeland this inning. You have Lobaton up next. And then when you go to a pinch hitter, on their bench is Adrian Gonzalez and Michael Conforto. The only right-handed bat is your backup catcher, Tomas Nido. There's a strikeout. You're not going to go to him in all likelihood if you're Mickey Callaway. You have Jose Reyes who switch hits.
Yeah, that might be the only other option that you have would be Reyes. But if you do that, then you would lose any sort of backup utility infielder.
So at least right now appears to be Michael Conforto. Lobaton a single and a strikeout. 7 strikeouts now after Freeland fanned Jay Bruce.
Two starts ago was his season high with 8 strikeouts, 5 in his last start at Chicago for Kyle.
This is 3 high-quality starts in a row for Freeland. Good pitch. Last 10 starts coming into Kyle's start today in New York. The Rockies starting rotation had fashioned a 1.61 ERA, best in baseball. 2-1. Ground ball that Castro will get to.
That
2
wasn't
outs.
as easy a play as Daniel made it look because of where he caught that ball and the lip of the outfield grass. So as you're going to this ball, you're thinking, okay, where's this going to hit on the last couple hops? So he goes back right there. You're thinking, oh man, is it going to catch the lip and pop up on me? No, it stayed down. Nice play by Daniel. Right here, you're thinking, okay, but he caught a little bit of a break on the Subaru Supermo because the last hop was on dirt. It wasn't at the lip.
Conforto, 3 for 16 against lefties, takes strike 1. He's just 5 for his last 39 at the plate. He's made only 1 start in this series. That was Friday. And it's strike 2.
Kyle's sniffing this, isn't he? He's saying, okay, let me get this inning done.
0-2. Rockies overload the right side. Here's the 1-2 to Conforto. Got him. What a job by Kyle Freeland. Just a marvelous afternoon of pitching. 103 pitches, 8 strikeouts. And after giving up 2 early runs, next 6 innings, he will give you some more numbers on Kyle. 7 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. He gave up 3 hits on his first 7 pitches, within his first 7 pitches. He gave up 1 hit on his next 96 pitches. He did not give up a hit after the 2nd inning. There was only 1 base runner after the 2nd inning, a leadoff walk in the 4th to Wilmer Flores.
He retired 18 out of the last 19 guys he faced, including the last 12 in a row for Kyle.
Special performance now, try to get him a W.
was special because, as you said, Drew, the 3 hits in the first inning, you're thinking, boy, wait, this could unravel quickly. And Kyle and Tony got on the same page. It was fun to watch. That cutter working. But what have we been talking about seeming endlessly now is one starter wants to follow what the other starter has done. So he's passed the baton. Next time out, it'll be John Gray's turn to take the baton.
Well, they all want to do that, but the fact that they have been doing it one after another has been most impressive. Hansel Robles will be the pitcher in the 8th inning for the Mets. Gerardo Parra, Trevor Story, Ian Desmond. Parra on his birthday is 1 for 2 and a walk. The walk forced in the tying run. He doubled to right center field his last time up. He's also made a great catch in this game. Strike 1 from Robles.
9th game for Robles, and then was just brought back when they designated Matt Harvey for assignment.
Bounced up the middle, and that'll be a base hit. And we'll see if Parra tries to stretch it. He will. Spin and throw out at second base. No, safe. Safe at second.
Well, it's only this close because of how shallow Lagares plays in center. Because after this went off the glove,
they're going to look at this.
Yeah.
Cabrera messing with Parra. The ball beat Parra by a fairly significant margin. We'll see what Bruce Dreckman saw because they're going to review this.
Tried to swim move. So he swim moves and reaches in with the left hand. And he's out. One more look. Lagares strong throw. Rosario able to tag him right there before that hand gets in.
Eight 6 on the put out as Parra tried to stretch it. 0-1 on Story. So the Rockies have had 2 guys thrown out in situations where they're again being aggressive. Dahl tried to move up on a dirt ball. And Lobaton was able to throw him out. And that play right there.
But I thought that one too.
I still like the ideology. I like the change from a year ago.
Well, like I said,
you're not going to be 100%.
No. And any other center fielder probably not going to get there as fast as Juan did because of how shallow he plays.
And again, he had to whirl and make an ideal throw.
Yeah, we've seen that ball get
by Rosario.
airmail.
Yeah. Again, if you're going to be aggressive, you have to commit to it, as long as it's, being smart. Two and 2. Lagares, the only Met outfielder in the last 10 years to win a Gold Glove. He won at 14. Strike 3. Only been 2 other Met outfielders ever to win a Gold Glove. Isn't that amazing? They've been around since '62. Carlos Beltran won 3 in a row between '06 and '08. And then Tommy Agee in 1970. Number 20, Tommy Agee. This ball is lifted to right center field and deep. Did Desmond clip it? You bet! 3-2 Colorado. Ian Desmond with his second bomb of the day. The much maligned Rockies first baseman with a 2-homer day. And most importantly, the Rockies out in front in the 8th, 3-2.
Also puts Kyle Freeland on the plus side. Chance to win this game. This is reminiscent of that home run in Washington a few weeks back. And that one was in the 9th inning in Washington. This one's in the 8th inning to right center field. And that was over into the Rockies bullpen. Way to go, Desi.
That's got to feel really good for Ian Desmond. Getting a big high five from his skipper. Here's Castro.
It's the 4th career multi-home run game for Ian.
Second with the Rockies. He had one last May in San Diego, if you recall. And if you go oppo at Citi Field, you've hit it a long way.
Yes, you have.
On the ground to Frazier. The Rockies take a 3-2 lead on Ian Desmond's 6th of the year. Second to left, and moments ago a home run to right center to unknot this ball game. And it's 3-2 Colorado. And in the 8th inning, they'll hand the baseball to Brian Shaw. Ahmed Rosario, Juan Lagares, and Brandon Nimmo due up.
18 appearances now for Brian. That's tied for the major league lead. Chance for him to get back and work in an area in this game that he's comfortable in. He's worked in the 8th inning numerous times in his career.
Yep.
This is not unfamiliar territory at all.
The whole key for him has been consistent strike throwing, and he's thrown that slider a little bit more, and he opened the at bat with Rosario with the slider, but he missed. He's walked 9.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, the stuff's there. We see it on a nightly basis, 93 to 96.
Yeah, we've seen some cutters at 97 even. So the stuff's still electric. 2-1. You know, I was talking to Mickey Callaway a little bit yesterday, and he brought up Brian Shaw, and he said, "How's he doing?" And, you know, Callaway knows the numbers and everything. I said, the stuff's, just as I said a moment ago, stuff's electric, but he's had some command issues lately. And he said, you know what? He said, I never worry about him. He said he would go through periods in Cleveland like that but you could always rely on him.
He's given up 11 earned runs. 8 of those have come in 2 outings. He's had a 3 earned run and a 5 earned run day.
And he gets a strikeout on a 3-2 delivery. He's fearless, and
Heck yeah.
as you were discussing, it comes from having been there, done that so many times. And we're not just talking regular season, we're talking postseason with Cleveland.
That's right. And so you always go back in your mind with, I'm good. I'm all right. If I can get this down, I'm fine. And that's what you have to have too, in a short memory for a reliever.
Here's Lagares. Slider, strike 1. One and 2.
There it is, a 95. And that is up in the zone by design.
Slider, see you later. 2 strikeouts. And that'll bring up the youngster from Cheyenne, Brandon Nimmo.
Went upstairs and then back down with the slider. That really just locked up Lagares.
But he's going to mix and match here. You got Nimmo coming up, and if Nimmo were to reach, he'd prefer to see Cabrera, the switch hitter, on the right side.
Yeah, a little less power from the right side for Cabrera.
3-2 Colorado on the Desmond home run. Desmond, 3-2, Colorado leading New York with 2 outs and nobody on in the 8th. Brandon Nimmo is coming up, and the Rockies will counter with Jake McGee.
Jake had a rough outing on Friday night. 2 batters faced. Took the loss in that game. A couple of hits given up. But now he's in for just lock this down. You have the left on left with the youngster.
Well, a good bullpen always makes a manager sleep well. And it's not just a good bullpen. It's a bullpen with seasoning. And the Rockies have that kind of bullpen. McGee drops a breaking ball in there for a strike, 0-1.
That's a little unusual. First pitch curveball from Jake coming out of the bullpen.
I think he needs it a little bit more now, especially early in the year, until the velocity picks up. 1-1.
Still, opponents just hitting a mere 200 against Jake. 9 for 45. on the season.
Well received, but pitch called a ball. 2-1. Say this all the time. Tony does such a good job of subtly raising pitches up that are down in the zone. Tony just wants a shake, and now he'll give the sign. 2-1. Some life on that fastball today.
Late life too.
Yep. 2-2.
Every pitcher's going to go through a little period where they just don't have the same velocity on their pitches. It's just human nature for it to happen.
2-2. 3-2.
Fastball away here.
Want to keep it in the zone, and he didn't. So McGee walks Nimmo, and that'll bring up Cabrera. This is the guy you did not want to face with the guy on. Easily has been the Mets MVP the first 5-6 weeks of 2018.
Let's not forget, last time up he hit that deep drive to left field that Gerardo had to make that wonderful catch on against the wall.
Ball 1. The Rockies have put together 8 straight quality starts, which ties a club record. It's only the 3rd time that's ever happened. The last time was 2009. In the first portion of June. Popped him up. Dahl makes the catch. We'll go to the 9th inning. Rockies 3, Mets 2. Yeah, Jenny, as Corey mentioned, the 8 consecutive quality starts ties the team record. They've done it only 2 other times, the last being 2009 when the Rockies were on their way to a franchise record 92 win season. Robles remains out there. Here's Tony Walters, and Tony tried to bunt his way on. Noel Cuevas is in the on-deck circle.
Well, maybe just for now, though.
Yeah, I thought we may see Cargo.
We might see Cargo if Tony doesn't reach.
One ball, one strike, and there's Cargo. And he's already going to replace Cuevas.
I think it was just a ploy for a second. Well, go ahead and go on up there and act like you're going to do it. Cargo's getting his batting gloves on. He'll replace you.
Tony's reached twice in the game. He's 0 for 1 officially. He walked in the second and then got brushed by a pitch in the 6th inning by Syndergaard. Stole second. Homer on Friday. Good eye. 3-1. Rockies trying to provide some insurance for Adam Ottavino. The New York native will close today, with Wade Davis having worked Friday and Saturday. Of course, Friday he threw 29 pitches. Ball 4. So Walters a leadoff walk. And here comes Carlos Gonzalez. And again, with only one lefty down there, as we were discussing 2 innings ago, Jerry Blevins, and he's gone. He was utilized in the ball game. Buddy Black knows that there will be no matching up with his pinch hitter Gonzalez.
It must be a good feeling. It's kind of like playing poker, and the other guy's already showing you his hand, and you know you still have an ace in the hole.
Yep. Cargo last night 0 for 3 and an intentional walk. Cargo on Friday night had a ribby on a sac fly in the 1st inning when the Rockies got 5.
He just said they saw Spilly go gathering up a large order at the Shake Shack.
Somebody caught me.
He's the Noel. This person's all over. You said you're the Noel Cuevas of the Rockies TV crew.
Busted, huh?
They got me. I got ketchup and mustard all over my face right now. Hang on, boys.
And Cargo's gone on 3 pitches. Fastball up in the zone, 1 out, and that'll bring up Blackman.
It was great. Did you guys get one? A hamburger?
Doug, did.
You did?
No, we asked for double chocolate banana shakes. What happened?
No, you didn't ask. It was great. Yeah.
That's all you got, huh?
Line at Shake Shack. I told you to give me. No, not when I showed up. No.
Okay.
No.
They were too chilly for Shake Shack today, right? Were they yummy?
It was great. I'm gonna sleep well on the flight.
Charlie base hit in the 3rd and scored at the time the tying run. Had a little lift on that swing, down and in. That's a spot he likes the baseball. He's due. He hasn't hit a home run since Friday.
So with that single he had in the 3rd inning, extended a modest 8-game hit streak. The series 4 for 11.
Yeah, you played. There's nothing modest about an 8-gamer.
No. Maybe for Charlie it is. Other guys, it's kind of monumental.
I think it was Charlie a few years ago had 4 or no, I want to say he had a 5 10-plus game hitting streaks in one season. One and two.
That's light.
Are you looking at me? What do you think I know?
No, I'm just trying to think, because I think I had like one 10 or 11 game hit streak was the longest I had. Maybe 2.
Family threw a big party for you. Big celebration. Good swing again by Charlie. Charlie's hit the 3rd most home runs in the National League since the start of 2016. Stanton and Nolan tied for the lead, and then Charlie. And this ball is lifted to deep right toward the corner, and Bruce makes the catch. Walters tagged, but came back. It's a really nice play out there by Jay Bruce, because you're running full tilt toward a corner, and there's not any room in foul ground really out there.
No, and he knows that he's running out of real estate. Helps that he played here last year, so he's familiar with that corner. It's a couple times Charlie has just missed it by a grain or two. Remember in the 4th inning, he hit that one to right center field that Jay tracked down, and this time I think that one was just off the end of the bat towards the line.
Yeah, you were hoping where he hit it, as David Dahl takes a strike, that it may creep over. Now, if he's at Yankee Stadium, that's in the 2nd deck, probably.
That's Didi Gregorius territory. Nobody ever gives him a hard time for the 316-foot home runs that he hits there.
Good player, having a terrific start, but you're right. It's really short there and right in the Bronx.
Just saying, guys get accused of playing at Coors Field and inflated numbers when in Yankee Stadium it's 315 down the line.
But and the thing about it, it doesn't jut out dramatically from there. It kind of goes straight across.
And here it's legit 330 down the line.
0-2 on Dahl. And David hits it in the air to left center field. Lagares will move over. When we come back, Adam Ottavino will try to get the final 3 outs. 3-2 Colorado. One gave the Rockies a 3-2 lead in the 8th. Came with 2 outs. Here's one off Syndergaard in the 2nd to make it 2-1 New York at the time. And then with the score tied 2-2, he goes opposite field against Robles. It has been a rough start for Ian Desmond, but it has been a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Queens. And now the New York native Adam Ottavino will try to get outs 25, 26, and 27. He'll have 2 righties initially, Todd Frazier and Wilmer Flores, and then Jay Bruce.
32 strikeouts for Otto. That's second among all relievers. Multiple strikeouts in 13 to 17 games.
And again, this is not unfamiliar territory. He's done a lot of closing in his career. Slider misses, ball 1.
Before he missed the year with the Tommy John, he had 11 career saves.
Everybody on the top step. 1-0. And that slider is just off the plate. 2-0. With Frazier in particular, of the guys that are due up, you got to throw him strikes. Never been a high average hitter, but he has a decent on base percentage because he will walk.
Just 21 walks on the year. It's 11th in the National League.
It was a borderline pitch that went in favor of Ottavino, fortunately, so it's 2-1. You can see it was off the Subaru strike zone. Last save for Otto, September 30th, 2016. 3 on the left side for Frazier. And he swings and misses at a slider.
Oh, he set him up for either another slider or 95, 96 mile an hour fastball.
The one he starts off the plate on the glove side and comes back is a ruthless pitch. That's what he did right there.
Todd just able to spoil it. Two tough pitches.
Yep.
From Adam that were wasted by Todd Frazier. Starts to bail and then pulls those hands in so close to his body.
He's thrown like his B- level slider so far. You haven't seen the A slider yet.
I'd like to see the A+ here. That's what it's called for.
Popped up, foul ground. Desmond will not have a play.
Even that one wasn't his A+. There's a B.
See Adam blowing on his hands, which because it's cooler today, high 50s now. It's being allowed by the umpires, and when it's cooler, the ball's slicker, a little tougher to spin. Another 2-2. Got him. 1 out in the 9th. That backed up.
It did. And also 87. You know, Adam has 3 different sliders. This was slider number 2 as far as what they do. You get the one that's really hard. You got another one that's probably a big sweeper, and then that one's the in-between one.
National League strikeouts. Adam Ottavino behind Milwaukee's Josh Hader. Here's Flores, dangerous bat. 1-0. Walked in the 4th, otherwise he's 0 for 2. Both of his hits in this series came in a pinch hitting role, double and a single. And like he started Frazier, he missed away with 2 sliders. Tyler Anderson looking on. 2-0. Jay Bruce is on deck.
If Flores reaches, you might see a pinch runner for him.
Goes slider 3-0, 3-1. And pinch runner almost assuredly would be Jose Reyes. Called the ball just beneath the knees. So the tying run to first, and here comes Jay Bruce, and here comes Jose Reyes to run for Flores. Who Wants Tacos fans, follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special when the Rockies score 7 or more in a game. Now, Otto's pretty deliberate to the plate. Do you allow Reyes to run?
Well, if I'm Mickey, yeah, because I think he knows when he can make it.
Bruce, ground ball, foul.
You're also going to see Ian at first base.
Not really come off the bag.
Right. Jay hit that ball yesterday. It was, I think, it was 105 miles an hour off the bat that Ian couldn't catch because it was down by his ankles. So that's, when he comes off, all he's going to do is just square up to home.
Beat him there, and it's 0-2. Well, you think about it, that ball he hit, right side of the box. Ian comes off. It's about 86, 87 feet away.
And it's hooking.
At 100, what did you say?
105, and you have to turn your glove over to try to catch it.
Naturally, Adrian Gonzalez will get an opportunity. If there is one. Well, there will be. Strikeout, and that's the second out as Bruce is blown away on 2 fastballs. 2 gone in the 9th.
They didn't mess around. He just went fastball. There goes a couple angry fastballs after walking Wilmer Flores.
So Adrian Gonzalez, a longtime nemesis of the Rockies. He started last night. Reyes not going, and the slider's in there for a strike. 0-1. Line drive to left. And Reyes will stop at second. So Gonzalez pushes the tying run to second, the winning run to first.
Adrian Gonzalez 2 for 8 career after this hit off of Adam. But it's a good pitch. He just went with it.
It's a good pitch, but moving forward, the Mets, because they hit the pitcher 8, that spot's up right now, and the only guy left is the backup catcher, the light hitting Tomas Nido. And he hits from the right side, which is certainly more unfavorable against Adam Ottavino.
Also because of what happened with Cespedes leaving the game in the second inning. You had to go to your bench early. This is a interesting dilemma too when you have a runner like Reyes at second for an infielder. You got to keep him close, but you don't want to give up any ground. So it almost becomes like you don't worry about him a whole lot. I want to, if they do hit it, I want to make sure I still have my range.
Strike one on Nido. You know, Adrian Gonzalez has stayed in the game after pinch hitting. The only guy that I could think of off the top of my head that you could use would be like a DeGrom, who's an athlete, but DeGrom's on the disabled list, so they don't have anybody to run. And it's 0-2.
Just trying to figure out where they would play everybody too, since everybody's done.
Yeah, that's another factor. Yep.
Hopefully for Kyle Freeland, the rest of them in one pitch, they're going to be shaking some hands.
2 strikes on Thomas Nido. Reyes the tying run at second, Gonzalez at first. We're in the bottom of the 9th. Here's the 0-2. He's got him. Strike 3. Ball game over. Ottavino, the Brooklyn kid, saves the day in the 9th. Kyle Freeland the victory, and the Rockies have swept the Mets, and they conclude a beautiful 6-3 road trip through 3 cities.
Couple sliders, and then I'm going to finish you off with a heater. Let's go home, boys. Happy flight time back to Colorado.
Absolutely. And Adam Ottavino, his first save of the year, his first save since late September of 2016. And he's the first guy in a Rockies uniform not named Davis to get a save this year. And the great pitching continues on. Freeland improves to 2-4. Robles takes the loss. As I mentioned, Ottavino with his first save of the year. And the Rockies, when they have to fly, put it in the book, they're going to win. They're now 7-2 this year. The hitting start today, Ian Desmond. A lot to do in Denver. Let's get it there. Here's Jenny Cavnar and Corey Sullivan. Jenny, it's all yours.